GMT, this is the Midday News. The news is live on Joy99.7 FM in Accra. We're also live in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. We are streaming live on Facebook and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Lolonyo FM in Hohoi, A1 Radio, Dreams FM in Bolgatanga, Jubilee Radio in Keta, Radio Wa is in Wa, KTU in Koforidua, and Radio Max in Takrade. Go digital on Spotify, Facebook, and the MindJoy online app. And coming up this afternoon, a lifeline to save a distressed nation drowning in corruption. Anti-graft campaigners are in person on government to utilize the latest corruption survey to crack down on the menace, which is worth 5 billion cedis in just 2021.
You had a fast-track court. You have systems in place. You start at the top of those who are engaged as far as this report is concerned in compelling people to pay bribes, etc.
We'll hear from Shraj, which commissioned the survey as the presidency comes under fire once again for allegedly condoning corruption and its related activities.
We have weak leaders. That's the main problem. The capital of corruption is the Jubilee House. That's where real corruption, the big, the millions of dollars, that's where it happens.
Details also scores arrested in BBNE following clashes over chieftaincy dispute and mining operations, which resulted in 5 people sustaining gunshot wounds.
Some miscreants had come to the ground with unlicensed weapons and in the process fired from a distance. Unfortunately, some of the bullets strayed to hit some individuals who were just going about their normal business.
The Lands and Natural Resources Ministry has moved to calm the situation. We'll hear from the youth and the police. Also here on the Midday News, family of former president threatens to remove his body from the Asundwe Park if they are prevented from commemorating the 10th anniversary of his passing.
Then we have to advise ourselves, ask for official permission, take the body out of there and go bury him somewhere. Would you come over there to come and run that cemetery?
Meanwhile, after 10 years, his brother has disclosed to Joy News what may have killed him.
Providing the autopsy, we are satisfied with what killed him. He had a sinus problem, if anybody cares to know.
But why would a president sleep under a leaking roof?
Can you believe every morning a president with his sirens and everything pushing cars aside just to come to work? And then he would do that in the evening when everybody was going,
We have details for you coming up in sports.
We hear from an emotional Alex Amankwa who missed out on the semi-finals of the 800-meter event after being disqualified at the World Athletics Championships.
Orekwampof will bring us those details, and later, frustrated, worn out, depressed, nursing assistants asked government to post them 3 years after graduating from training school.
Life isn't easy. I am a mother of 2. I have completed school for 3 good years now. I am still in the house. The hardship we are going through is not easy. We can't because I've not been posted.
We have details of all these stories and more here in this half-hour package. Please stay with us. Hello again, thanks for choosing us. This is the home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. I am Ernest, Manu. This afternoon, there's a lifeline to save a financially distressed nation drowning in corruption. Anti-graft campaigners want government to utilize the latest corruption survey to crack down on the menace, which has become a deep-rooted problem in Ghana. The Ghana Statistical Service, in a report commissioned by Shraj on the prevalence of corruption in both the public and private sectors, noted that at least 5 billion Ghana cedis worth of bribes were paid in 2021 alone. This morning, the following news desk report.
The Ghana Statistical Service 2021 Ghana Integrity of Public Services Survey noted that about 5 billion Ghana cedis was paid as bribe in both the private and public sectors. The amount was realized from more than 17.4 million transactions. The report indicates that 26.7% of public sector officials were engaged in acts of corruption, with 9.1% being private sector officials. Here's government statistician Professor Samuel Kobina Enim.
10.3% of our population, of our citizens, the adult population, were offered money ahead of the elections, and they did indicate that 4.2% of them indicated that another family member was offered money for the same. how is this affecting our economy? We quantified it, and it's 5 billion Ghana cedis in the year 2021.
The report also indicated that people aged between 25 and 34 are the most likely to pay bribes. The list of top 10 public agencies found to be taking the most bribes is dominated by the security agencies, with the Ghana Police Service culpable for more than half of all the cases. The report further noted that persons with the highest level of education are close to 2 times more likely to pay bribes than those with no formal education. Justice of the Supreme Court, Yoni Kulendi, is worried that the persistence of this trend of corruption, if not checked, will undermine democracy and weaken national security.
It is fast draining the public purse, it's creating barriers to economic development, decreasing effectiveness and efficiency of public services, eroding the legitimacy of government, and will ultimately bring down our democracy and upset our national security.
And that was a News Desk report. Let's bring in the Deputy Commissioner of Shraj, Richard Quayson, for more on this. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on the Midday News. So finally, we have some data to back the long-existed corruption perception. This must be some real boost for your work at Shraj, isn't it?
Yes. I think now the reality behind the perception has come out for all of us to, as it were, know where we have our challenges. And I believe that it calls for action to address these challenges.
What is the plan then in utilizing this data to beat corruption?
Yes, I did indicate yesterday that the primary objective for the survey was for us to get scientific data to be able to do targeted policy intervention. So that is what we are going to do now. First, we're going to put together the final report, which we shared yesterday. That was the conference session. So we are now going to finalize the formal version between today and tomorrow. And then we'll start our engagement with the government, parliament, the judiciary, then roll it on, well, these are the arms of government. And then from there, we'll roll it on to other public sector institutions. Of course, we also have in mind the public that actually pays the bribe. So we'll have a lot of engagement also with the public.
We'll wait and see how that pans out. But given the quantum, the sheer numbers, the gravity of the survey, 17.3 transactions alone resulting in this 5 billion cedis that we've seen in 2021. Would you say that corruption has become more entrenched and accepted by Ghanaians and that the fight will be more difficult going forward?
Well, I wouldn't say entrenched. I would rather say it's become endemic or pervasive. And it's, we all have to understand that you cannot have a system that has such a level of corruption and the system can really succeed. Corruption is a big danger to our democracy and our nation building. And we believe that we have to all accept responsibility for what is going on. This is not you have done it, somebody has done it. All of us have contributed, either by way of direct contribution or by complicity. And so all of us must agree to work together and address it. One of even the most dangerous part of the revelation from this survey is that it is rather those who have had higher education that is either paying or demanding bribe. That's the highest number. That also shows that probably now the orientation of education has somehow failed the nation, and we must begin to reorient our education properly.
Thank you very much for your time. That's Deputy Commissioner of Shraj, Richard Quayson there, speaking to us on the latest corruption survey put together by the UNDCO as well as the Statistical Service and Shraj. This afternoon, private legal practitioner Martin Pebu is attributing the growing depth of Ghana's corruption menace to a lack of committed leadership. He spoke on the AM show.
Because we have weak leaders, that's the main problem. I think, you see, it's true that we have cultural issues with corruption. Okay, yes, it's embedded in our culture. People will tell you when you go to the chief's palace, don't go empty-handed and all that. They say that is what has fed into what we are suffering. But with hindsight, I believe it's leadership. They say a fish rots from its head. I heard lay people on radio make a certain point, and I buy into it. They say the capital of corruption is the Jubilee House. So this report should be thrown into the dustbin.
Martin Pebu, the anti-corruption campaigner Adam Senanu, believes the report provides verifiable details useful in tackling the situation head-on. He wants government to take advantage of this new report to renew its anti-graft fight.
On the other hand, it tells you that those who have less contact at 14.9 are demanding more. I think that it allows us for, look, if you had enough investigators, you had a fast-track court, you have systems in place, you start at the top of those who are engaged as far as this report is concerned in compelling people to pay bribes, etc., and go on a campaign. I mean, that is what leadership is about. So if government wanted to give a robust response to this, use this data to inform where do we suddenly crack them, put in place systems, grab people, sanction them, demonstrate that we're going to do this sector by sector. We're going to use this report. We can even do it simultaneously across sectors. Let's have some robust responses.
Adam Senanu is an anti-graft campaigner. Let's turn our attention now to mining. Scores of people have been arrested by the Bibiani police for their involvement in the chieftaincy dispute and mining operations protests that resulted in 5 people sustaining gunshot wounds. Western North Regional Minister Richard Obeng, who confirmed this to Joy News, said some miscreants fired into the protesting crowd, resulting in the injuries. Joy News is learning the Deputy Land and Natural Resources Minister, George Mekuduka, has been directed to intervene in the standoff between the police and the youth of Bibiani, as well as the management of Mensing Gold over the new mining operations in the town. The Bibiani youth are demanding employment and other things before mining takes off. Here's an account of an eyewitness.
They are not following the agreement. They are supposed to evict some people, but they won't do that. They simply want to go ahead with the mining. They called the police and muscular men who came and fired shots. 5 people were hit.
The Bibiani Divisional Police Commander ACP James Amwakwe Chamfor has advised the youth to avoid illegal demonstrations.
We have laws in the country. Whatever you do, you need to ask whether it will bring challenges, because even if you have a sponsor, that person won't help you if the law gets hold of you.
The Land and Natural Resources Minister Samuel Abujinapo says government is determined to ensure peace in the area.
I think the initial report we have is that the 2 issues. The first one has to do with some chieftaincy rivalry and matters to do with authority who is entitled to perform some rights also. And the second one is also agitation from the youth about employment quota to certain parts of the traditional area. And I've already asked my deputy minister, who is responsible for mines, Honorable George Mekuduka, to quickly intervene and assemble the facts for us to take it up immediately. So yes, we are on top of that.
We can now hear from the Western North Regional Minister Richard Obeng, who confirmed to Joy News that some miscreants fired into the protesting crowd, resulting in the injuries. He said the situation is under control.
The traditional authorities had said, earlier, that they were going to perform their traditional rights in a river that is just about border between Western North and Ashanti region. The right, the intent to perform the right did not sit well with the youth group. And so they put themselves together, decided to physically restrain the traditional authority from doing so. And once we got a wind of it, we sent the police, led by my regional police commander, and in the process, stop that from happening.
That's the Western North Regional Minister, Richard Obin. Let's stay a little while longer on mining because the Land and Natural Resources Ministry is investigating alleged discrimination in the prosecution of persons arrested for engaging in illegal mining. The minority this week told the news conference most foreigners arrested have been freed. Sector Minister Abujinapo says government is probing the issue.
We realize that the law or the criminal regime was not punitive enough. And therefore, we amended the Minerals and Mining Act, Act 703 through Act 995 to make the punishment for foreigners in particular more punitive. I think we took the punishment, the sentencing, up to about 25 years of sentencing for foreigners who are involved in small-scale mining. So that has been done. So is it also that we are even about to amend the law to make sure that the use of floating devices on river bodies called champagne, the ban on them is expanded even more legally.
Samuel Abujinapo is the Minister for Land and Natural Resources. The family of the late President John Evans Atta Mills has served notice it will remove his body from the Asundre Park if they are not allowed to visit the place on Sunday. Now, this was in reaction to former presidential aide Kojo Anyidoho's threat to stop the former president's brothers and others from going there to observe the 10th anniversary of his death. Brother of President Mills, Samuel Atta Mills, said they will do all within their power to change his burial place if management remains the same. He spoke on Upfront on the Joy News channel.
President John Evans Atta Mills, Asundre Hene, is buried at Asundre Park.
Yeah.
It's a national place for any Ghanaian to go there. Now, if an NGO is saying that I'm going to prevent the family, prevent the party, to prevent other people from coming out there, we are sitting down for an NGO to take possession of a national place. It is only a national place because Professor Mills was buried out there. So if we're not going to allow us there, then we have to advise ourselves, ask for official permission, take the body out of there, and go bury him somewhere. Would you come over there to come and run that cemetery?
Well, earlier, Samuel Atta Mills had alleged the remains of the former head of state had been tampered with on the blind side of the family, but the Coastal Development Authority has dismissed suggestions it has desecrated the body of the former president. My colleague Elton Brobe joins me in the studio with details of a statement signed by the CEO of CODA. Elton, what does it say?
The statement is categorical that the grave was not opened and therefore no desecration of the body of the former president. It adds that CODA is renovating the burial grounds upon a directive from the president.
Did it indicate the specific works CODA is undertaking?
It includes the following: redesign and construction of ICT lab, library, cafeteria, and artifacts building, and that is done. Construction of a concrete shield and replacement of the outlook board panel over the tomb of the late president, that is also done. Construction of fence wall and 2 restrooms for security staff, that's also done. Construction of entrance for general public and VIP is also done. Paving of 50-meter walkway to and around the tomb with porcelain tiles, also done. Asphalting of driveway to the general public, which is ongoing, and landscaping of general area around the tomb, also ongoing.
Thank you very much. That's Elton Brobe. So what killed the former president? This question has been asked for the last 10 years by the general public and more recently former aide to the late president, Kojo Anyidoho. Well, in an exclusive interview with my colleague Samuel Kojo, Samuel Atta Mills discloses for the first time what may have led to the death of President John Evans Atta Mills.
Anybody who is coming after 10 years to ask for an autopsy report, obviously there must be something wrong with that person. What is his business asking about the autopsy report? I'm a blood brother of the president. We are satisfied what killed him. We have a copy of the autopsy report. AMA has a copy of the autopsy report. 37 Military Hospital has a copy of that autopsy report. So what is his business asking this?
But what does the report say if you want to help Ghanaians?
Providing the autopsy, I was there right before he woke up, and I left only when he fell asleep. All the hospital visits that he went on, I was there with him. All the visits, I was there with him. We are satisfied with what killed him. He had had a sinus problem. If anybody cares to know, that was around 2015 or 2005, 2006, around that time. And it was that thing that had kept on for some time. And so he had to go for chemotherapy and he had to go for radiotherapy. And with all those complications, those were all part of it.
And you heard that Samuel Mills. Meanwhile, members of parliament have been eulogizing the former president. Let's go live and speak to correspondent Kweku Asante. Kweku, what have the MPs been saying?
So the eulogy started with the Honorable Northton MP, who served as Deputy Information Minister under the former president. He said the man had some qualities that if current Ghanaian leaders were to imbibe, the country would develop much faster.
In a country where Ghana time has become legendary, he showed that despite multiple exacting schedules of a president, it is possible to be organized and always be on time. To him, it was also a show of respect for the people you serve. Honorable Speaker, during his tenure as president, Ghana recorded its highest GDP growth rate of 14.4%. Ghana also secured its longest sustained single-digit inflation. It is also significant to note that under his stewardship, Ghana secured its first 1 million metric tons of cocoa production. Ghanaian workers still celebrate him for the successful implementation of the single spine pay policy.
Not on MP Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa there. You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. We're taking a break on Worry 10, frustrated, worn out, depressed. Nursing assistant asks government to post them 3 years after graduating from training school.
Life isn't easy. I am a mother of two. I have completed school for 3 good years now. I am still in the house. The hardship we are going through is not easy. We can't because I've not been posted.
Akwaba Magic Busia, brand new channel, Tia Roba, Emuno Chiao, Ewo DSTV channel 149 and Go TV channel 108. Enianom Akwaba Magic Busia, Eddie Nidia Ghanaian programs mu Bofi, Ebit said to have and to hold, and Yom Senior Cassia series and talk show, Bemoaka TV sets Nichi. Akwaba Magic Busia, Ewo DSTV access to your 50 Ghana cities per and Go TV value to your 25 Ghana cities per Ebusia Akwaba.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Ernest. Time now for sports. Orikon Pofo here.
Thank you very much, Ernest. Now, the national 800-meter record holder, Alex Amankwa, broke into tears after his disqualification from the semi-final heat of the 800-meter event at the ongoing World Athletics Championships. Amankwa ran a time of 1 minute 45.92 seconds, and despite finishing fourth in Heat 2, the 30-year-old had a semi-final spot stripped off him for lane violation.
I'm just disappointed. I worked too hard for moments like this to get away for something like that, but it's okay because I'm a fighter and this is only going to make me better, and I'm going to be better because of this. I know I am, so it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Just a little bump on the road, so I'll be okay.
A little bump on the road, Alex Amankwa says, as he's in tears. Quite disappointing for Team Ghana so far, as any of our athletes are yet to reach the semi-finals at the World Athletics Championships. But there's more with the 4x100 men's team to run upcoming this weekend.
Thank you very much, Oriku, for bringing us the latest in sports. Frustrated, worn out, depressed. That's how nursing assistants who have not been employed since graduating from training school say they feel. A statement from the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association states over 10,000 nurse assistants from the 2019 batch have not been posted. Rose Edujenfi tells Joy News life is difficult.
Life isn't easy. I am a mother of two. I have completed school for 3 good years now. I am still in the house. How do I survive? I have to go and sell them. I'm not saying the businesses that they are doing in the market is boring or poor. No. But when I was giving birth, I had this problem at my lumbar area and my waist. I had to stand on my feet every day. And after I've received something to eat, I have to use this same money to go and cure my sickness. It's not easy. My child will ask me, Mom, have you stopped the nursing? Because the child has witnessed that I've not been wearing the uniform again. Why? Because I've not been posted. The hardship we are going through is not easy. We can't. They have given us clearance together with the diplomas and then the degrees. Where are they now? They are at post. They are doing their work.
Well, the General Secretary of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, David Tinkran, says the association is demanding that government post these unemployed nurses. Away from that, time for our Living Standard series. Commercial drivers are struggling to pay school fees for their children and keep food on the table due to low sales brought on by a hike in fuel prices and spare parts. Mamisi Thompson has the latest in our Living Standard series.
Richard has been driving for more than 6 years to feed his family. But this year, high fuel and maintenance costs are gradually eroding his sales.
When fuel was cheaper, I used to make about 170 cedis a day for my master. But with the increase in prices, I now have to make 200 cedis, sometimes 220. Before I also buy fuel and pay my mates.
His work troubles are now affecting his ability to pay his children's school fees and other domestic responsibilities.
I have 3 children, but I have paid school fees for only 1. The work is not moving. Now I have to take out of my sales so I can provide money to feed my home.
Richard's conductor, Minta, is at the receiving end of the situation. Recent low sales have impacted his wages.
These days, work is slow. I used to be paid well, but now most of the money is used to buy fuel. Sometimes there is change, so I keep that for water, food, and other expenses.
That's it for our Living Standard series. Now, it has been 3 years since our sanitation drive, the Joy Clean Ghana campaign, started. And over the years, it's received applause from the general public, but also some pushback from sanitation offenders. Well, today we have been tracking the success of this campaign. Together with our partners, the AMA, we visited restaurants and bars terminals that were initially engulfed with filth and rat-infested, but now have met the required sanitary standards. Here's a report by Michael Ashali.
Their medical certificates are not here. When we are done with the inspections and we don't see the cars, we are going to lock down up the place.
About a year ago, when officials of the AMA sanitation team were compelled to shut down the Las Palmas restaurant, despite their shock and disappointment, the management of the eating place promised to bounce back, but this required some tough measures, including job losses. The tough love appears to have paid off, as the AMA team is now impressed with the state of the restaurant.
Now the toilet has been provided.
On their part, new manager of the place explains the response has been great.
In fact, at the time I would have rated them 35, but today I can rate them 75.
The team then visited the OA bus terminal, which previously had its washroom in a deplorable state.
They had broken WCs, so this place was closed down.
So now they've changed the water closet to a poor flush type.
Manager of the facility is convinced their routine monitoring and cleaning system is yielding results.
So right now, everything is intact. Some people also jump the wall. I mean, this place is too, I don't understand.
The new state of the Circle branch of Las Palmas and the washroom at OA bus terminal are just 2 of the many success stories of the Joy Clean Ghana campaign.
And that's how we end the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. Our top story this hour: the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice to roll out a national plan to deal with corruption following a survey that revealed about 5 billion cedis was paid in bribes in just 2021. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I'm Ernest. Up next is Living Word with Dr. Mensa Otabil.
Isn't life wonderful when everything worth doing is scheduled? Hitting the stop button on your alarm just in time for your morning jog. That's happy moments listening to your baby's heartbeats at the doctor's office. Or an arranged virtual meeting with that big client.
Buy airtime ahead of time with scheduled airtime service on MTN Momo. You can schedule your airtime purchase of any amount, daily, weekly, or monthly by dialing *170# option 3 and follow the process. Or simply dial *170 *311# for a superb airtime purchase experience. You enjoy 100% bonus airtime anytime you recharge yourself with MTN Momo. Keep on talking with that 100% feeling. So, what are we doing today?
MTN.
The middle of the year is here. EGL Mid-Year Promotion with NASCO, Toshiba, Media, and Samsung.